All right, Justin.
Let's get you caught up on our Now news feed. President Trump now asking Roy Moore to concede the U.S. Senate race in Alabama. Moore lost to Democrat Doug Jones earlier this week, but still refuses to admit it. Steve Bannon also came out today and said it's time.
For most Americans, today is the last day of open enrollment for Obamacare. The Trump administration cut the sign-up time in half, and many people don't know today is the deadline. There is one exception. Areas hit by hurricanes this year can sign up until the end of the month.
And remember, you've got mail. Well, it's now a part of the history books. AOL's Instant Messenger shuts down today. It's been helping us connect for over 20 years, but most of us use apps and text messages now. Wow, end of an era, I'd say.
Right. Well, President Trump both praised and slammed the FBI today. Listen to what he said right before going to speak at an FBI graduation.
Well, it's a shame what's happened with the FBI, but we're going to rebuild the FBI. It'll be bigger and better than ever.
During his speech, the president was much more complimentary, though.
I want you to deliver a message to your fellow officers. The President of the United States has your back 100%. I will fight for you, and I will never, ever let you down, ever.
He praised most law enforcement except the FBI. President Trump is also calling for the death penalty for anyone convicted of killing a police officer.
Well, things have been touch and go for the tax overhaul plan throughout the day, but it looks like one of the big sticking points that could put more money in a lot of people's pockets is getting through. The Now's Mike Sachs is in Washington closely monitoring these updates for us.
We found out late today that ailing Senators John McCain and Thad Cochran will be able to cast their votes, something that had Republicans worried. In fact, Vice President Mike Pence is sticking around town in case he needs to cast a deciding vote. But it looks like Senator Marco Rubio, who was threatening to vote no, is now a yes. He's getting his demand met, a $300 boost in the child income tax credit, money in the pockets of low-income parents.
For a lot of low-income people at the margin who may owe just a little bit of income tax, $300 can essentially wipe out their entire income tax burden.
So here's the math. The initial bill doubled the total tax credit a family could get per child from $1,000 to $2,000. But many working-class families would only see 55% of that. That's $1,100 per child. Rubio tweeted today that that wasn't enough, and so the lawmakers upped the final bill's level to $1,400. With Rubio now satisfied, the bill has one less roadblock towards the president's desk by Christmas.
I think that we are going to be in a position to pass something as early as next week, which will be monumental.
Democrats have been protesting the bill as a windfall for the wealthy. And even its supporters laugh at the Republican claims that the 500-plus page bill will simplify America's tax system.
No, actually, it's not going to simplify the tax code. It's going to make more work for lawyers and tax accountants in order to help people navigate the new tax law.
Senate Republicans are heading into the weekend confident that they will have the 51 votes to pass the final bill on Monday. If so, it then goes to the House for a vote on Tuesday or Wednesday, and then to the president for his signature. For the Now, I'm Mike Sachs.
All right, Hanukkah began on Tuesday. Christmas, 10 days away now. So what does that make today?
Well, it is the official start of the holiday travel season. At least that's according to the TSA. Here's what you need to know before you head out to travel or to pick someone up. TSA says it'll screen more than 40 million people starting today through January 2nd. Is expecting anywhere from 100,000 to 400,000 additional people flying each day across the country. You should plan to be at the airport 2 hours before your flight if you're staying in the U.S. and 3 hours before your flight if you're flying internationally.
So is TSA ready for the onslaught? Well, it's added up to 1,400 officers at the busiest 50 airports. It's also added 55 more K-9 teams compared to last holiday season.
Now, unless you have TSA pre-check, you'll need to remove all personal electronics larger than your cell phone from your carry-on bags for screening, and don't wrap your presents. TSA may have to unwrap a gift if it triggers an alarm. TSA suggests using a gift bag instead or wrapping presents when you arrive at your destination. Now for a live look over at Campus Martius Park. It's been bitter cold for the past few days, but we are looking at some warmer weather as we head into the weekend. That's good news, huh? 7 First Alert meteorologist Kevin Jeans is tracking the warmer temperatures for us. So Well, some people don't like it, but some people are like, yes, thank goodness.
I think everybody likes a change for at least a short period of time.
I like that idea, Kevin.
Yeah, so I think we're going to warm up. It's going to be nice by the end of this weekend. And overall today, snow showers off and on, but it's not really the onslaught of snow that we kind of had over the last 24, 36 hours or so. Right now, temperatures into the 20s. This is still a warm up, I think, than over the last couple of days, but upper 20s right now. It's 28 degrees in Detroit, 26 degrees in Ann Arbor. Now, the wind chill still much lower than that. We're in the teens. At least we're out of the single digits, but wind chills right now around the low to mid-teens. So it is cold out there, but we do have some snow off and on, and it's going to gradually taper off later tonight. I think the snow also itself gets a little lighter, and we'll probably get longer breaks between some of these snow showers by later on tonight. But the chance of snow exists all the way through the night and all the way through tomorrow morning. So more on the way. Accumulation will be tough to come by a lot of it. I think we're only looking at upwards of 1 inch, I think, at the high end once this is said and done by later on tomorrow. So low pressure to the north of us. We have the winds out of the west, and right now winds are out of the southwest. It's been a breezy afternoon, 10 to 20 mile per hour winds. Winds getting lighter, though, at least overnight, and then eventually tomorrow is going to be a kind of a calmer day, but occasional snow throughout this evening. Temperatures dropping through the 20s by tomorrow morning. Overnight lows in the lower 20s, and winds out of the southwest just about 5 miles per hour, so 5 to 10 miles per hour, and then the wind shift by tomorrow afternoon out of the northeast and around a 5 to 10 mile per hour breeze. So morning snow showers possible tomorrow, off and on with a high of 33 degrees. This is through this evening, and then tonight, again, snow showers could continue even after midnight, 8 o'clock in the morning now. Once we get beyond noon and get into the afternoon hours, a lowering chance of snow and maybe some breaks in the clouds by tomorrow evening, and then Sunday begins to warm up just a bit, but we're going to be looking at temperatures tomorrow still around that freezing point. So tonight and tomorrow morning there could still be some slick spots on the roads, but hopefully we at least get maybe some melting by the time we get to Sunday. We'll show you the temperatures through Sunday and Monday. That'll be coming up in the next half hour, but more snow showers off and on tonight and through tomorrow. Carolyn and Joanne, back to you.
Wow, I know my house looked like a winter wonderland this morning with those big giant flakes coming down, so I welcome warmer temperatures, Kevin. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, what's coming up today on 7 Action News at 5? Let's check in with Stephen Clark. He's live in studio right now with a preview for us. Hi, Stephen.
Hey, Carolyn, thank you so very much. After our latest snowfall, people are plowing and shoveling their way out, but Oakland County is issuing a warning. What you should not do that could land you a $100 fine and even up to 90 days in jail. And Eminem tweeting lyrics from his song Lose Yourself to announce his pop-up store this weekend promoting his album. We're going to tell you where you can pick up exclusive merchandise. It's all coming up after the Now Detroit on 7 Action News at 5.
All right, Stephen, thank you. Next year on the Now, even if you're not a Walmart employee, you've got to hear about a change the company is making that will let employees get paid sooner. Not everyone's a fan, though. We'll explain why. We're going to talk all about it when the Now Detroit returns. Walmart's 1.5 million employees could soon be getting paid before payday. Here's how this would work here. Walmart has a couple of financial planning tools that will let employees draw half of their salary before getting their paycheck. The idea is to avoid bouncing checks or going to payday loan places. This could certainly be helpful from a cash flow standpoint, but there are critics. They're worried that low-income hourly workers will spend that money too quickly and they could end up needing that same loan at the end of the month.
Well, former Apprentice star Omarosa sat down for another interview after her appearance yesterday on Good Morning America, and she raised even more questions about her time as a senior White House aide. Perhaps the only thing clear is that Omarosa isn't going away anytime soon. Here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Omarosa is fueling new questions about diversity and conflict within the Trump administration.
I have seen things that have made me uncomfortable, that have upset me, that have affected me deeply and emotionally, that has affected my community and my people. And when I can tell my story, it is a profound story that I know the world will want to hear.
The former Apprentice contestant denies being fired, saying she resigned after talking to Chief of Staff John Kelly about concerns within the White House.
I talked to him about some concerns that I had, about issues, about one very urgent issue and pressing issue that would affect the president. And so
an urgent and pressing issue?
Absolutely.
That would affect the president
Absolutely.
in a dangerous way?
In a big way.
Omarosa claims a lack of diversity often left her feeling alone. 22 staffers earn their top White House salary of $179,000. Omarosa was the only African American among that group. And Secretary Ben Carson is the only black cabinet member. The administration is pushing back, saying it's a diverse team.
We always want to continue to grow the diversity here. We're going to continue to do that and continue to work hard. I don't have a number directly in front of me, specifically not African American.
Omarosa says the president was sad when he learned of her departure.
Did Omarosa share her concerns with you, Mr. President?
I like Omarosa. Omarosa is a good person.
Thank you all very much.
Eva Pilgrim reporting there.
All right, getting back to our lineup, $450 million is up for grabs this weekend between Mega Millions and Powerball.
But Uncle Sam doesn't want you to win just yet. We're going to tell you how the government could soon be taking more of the jackpot winnings.
The Now Detroit returns in just a moment. TGIF.
Taking action for you from 7 Action News. This is the Now Detroit.
Let's get you up on the Now News feed. Firefighters battling those devastating Southern California wildfires could get a break today. For the first time in more than a week, red flag warnings will end. It'll be a short break, though. High winds will pick up again tomorrow night.
Bad news if you like trendy, inexpensive clothes. H&M says it's closing more stores. No word yet on how many. It's a familiar story, though. More people shopping online and not hitting the stores.
And the date is set. Prince Harry and his celeb fiancée Meghan Markle announced their wedding date. Get May 19th on your calendars. A royal wedding watch party could be in your future. Joanne?
Well, the fraternity culture at Penn State University is back in the national spotlight today as prosecutors released a grand jury's report in the wake of a pledge's drinking death. The death of Penn State fraternity pledge Tim Piazza prompted a grand jury investigation on hazing and excessive alcohol consumption at the university's fraternities. Piazza died in February as he pledged Beta Theta Pi. Among the grand jury's recommendations?
Cure the currently deficient hazing law. Hazing right now is only a misdemeanor, and that's just not sufficient.
In all, 26 of Piazza's former fraternity brothers have now been charged, many facing allegations from reckless endangerment to manslaughter. Police say the students led them to believe a security camera in the fraternity's basement wasn't working, but instead allegedly deleted that video. According to prosecutors, the now recovered video shows the brothers giving Piazza 18 drinks in less than 90 minutes.
Wow, now that case was so devastating for so many. All right, with no one winning the Powerball and Mega Millions earlier this week, they're now up to around $450 million combined. And while your chances of winning the jackpot aren't great, it's always nice to dream.
Right?
Huh?
We always say that. But here's something you likely didn't realize, and well, you may not like. You could end up getting less money from a lottery win under the GOP tax plan. We'll explain now. Right now, if you win the jackpot, you're in the top tax bracket, and you'd pay top rates for state and local income taxes. But those state and local taxes are deductible on your federal return, so you're really not losing as much money.
With the GOP tax plan, that changes. You'll still be in the top tax bracket. Excuse me, but CNBC reports you won't be able to get an itemized deduction for state and local income taxes anymore. That likely means you'll be taking home a few $1 million less for a jackpot win.
Oh no. Tax reform isn't final yet. The House and Senate's combined version still has to go up for a vote, but it could be more important than ever next year to have an accountant and financial advisor ready to help you maximize just how much money you take home if you were to win the jackpot. It's a big if, everybody, but now you know. It's
with a capital I and a capital F, right? All right, dozens of kids battling illnesses got the chance to hop on a plane to the North Pole.
This is always such a special story every year. The Now Detroit Simon Chowdhury is live to tell us about their fantasy flight to visit Santa. Sima?
That's right, guys. It may look like a winter wonderland out here, but how cool would it be to get on a plane and go ahead to the North Pole to meet Santa? Well, that's exactly what more than 70 kids with severe and terminal illnesses got to do today. Now, some had come as far as Lansing. They went to Detroit Metro Airport to get on the flight. They were greeted with music and other fun festivities. Now, the group Silverliners hosted the 32nd annual event. Each year, that group of retired flight attendants helped take the children to the North Pole to meet Santa Claus on a Delta flight. The plane taxied on the runway with the engines roaring to simulate a short flight. Now, the event brings smiles on all their faces, not just the kids, but the parents and volunteers, too.
I think this is a fantastic program for kids. She's been through a lot this year. She was diagnosed with Crohn's disease last January, and through the result of that, she's had heart failure and kidney failure. So we've had a really rough year, so this opportunity is pretty awesome for her.
Oh, I think it's a great, the event, you mean? Altogether, it's amazing. I think they've made it so magical for the kids and the parents. I'm having a great time. I know my son is. Everything's just, wow, they're going above and beyond. It's really great, yeah.
And organizers say that once they got off the plane, they got a chance to meet the elves and Santa. And they say this was their biggest flight, largest flight this year with 77 kids. And you know, you guys, I got an exclusive off-camera interview with Santa. And he said he had a ton of fun meeting these children, and he looks forward to doing this every year. I'll send it back to you.
I bet. What a special day, Simon. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, special indeed. All right, Wigs for Kids is at it again, doing amazing things to change children's lives. Today, Walmart delivered a giant check to the organization in St. Clair Shores. The group asked for a grant of $25,000 and got $90,000 instead. How about that? Wigs for Kids provides free wigs to kids and young adults who are coping with hair loss from various medical conditions and illnesses. We spoke to one 15-year-old girl today who says her new hair has really changed her life.
Now that I have the hair, it feels so much better. I won't feel nervous about going out, and I feel like myself again.
Wow, it makes such a difference in their lives. The donation of $90,000 today will support 90 children and their families. Every wig is custom fitted and individually cut and styled to help patients feel more comfortable. Just a beautiful thing to do.
Isn't it?
Oh,
Life-changing work
yes,
they do.
Indeed.
Yeah, hats off to them. All right, we all forget things now and then, certainly, especially as we grow older, but a new study suggests that getting more sleep could help preserve our memory. More benefits of good sleep. Our chief health editor, Dr. Partha Nandi, is here to tell us why. Kind of like hitting, I guess, the save button, right, Dr. Nandi?
That's exactly right, and Joanne, I know you hear from me and other sleep experts all the time that getting 8 hours of sleep a night is critical, and you always look at me with that look, I know.
Yes,
so a recent study shows that one more reason why getting enough sleep is so important for folks, especially as they age. Scientists have learned that the part of the brain actually responsible for deep sleep begins to break down as we get older. And this can cause us to forget things that should really become cemented in our memories during sleep.
What's the connection between getting enough sleep and having a good memory? What did they find?
So, Joanne, when a healthy young person enters deep sleep, their brain waves become synchronized. This synchronization is critical for memory formation. It allows us to save the memories we've accumulated the whole day. The problem is that as we age, the part of our brain that does all of this begins to show signs of decay. This in turn leads to long-term memory loss.
Wow, sounds like another reason why we just need to get sleep the best we can. I know it's hard for some of us. So for those of us who do struggle to get the recommended 8 hours, what are your prescriptions? What's your advice?
Absolutely. I know it's not easy to get 8 hours sleep. I sometimes am guilty of getting less myself, but it's super important. So here's some things you can do to make it easier. First, limit the amount of time you spend in front of a screen, especially at night. Blue light has been proven to alter circadian rhythms that can really make a difference. Secondly, you should also make an effort to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day. Give that routine. Also, avoid caffeine late in the day and don't drink too much alcohol. Both have a negative effect on sleep patterns. And finally, keep your bedroom on the cooler side. Experts recommend a sleeping temperature of between 65 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. My wife would probably go crazy with that, but I think it'll help her.
You probably will. Just throw an extra blanket on, right?
That's right.
All right, one last question for you. Is there a particular age when the sleep decline begins to occur?
Joanne, researchers say that these changes are more dramatic in people aged 65 and older, but they stress that deep sleep decline can happen to people in their 30s and 40s as well. So scientists are currently working on technology that might be able to help resynchronize brainwaves for older adults. But for now, your best bets are always eating well, getting enough exercise, and practicing good sleep hygiene. That also means you, Joanne.
I do my best. I keep trying, Dr. Nandi.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Carolyn.
All right, Joanne, you and me both. All right, with the holidays upon us, Christmas Grinches are out in full force, targeting package deliveries in neighborhoods across the country, really. The Now's Carson Chambers shows us how an unexpected porch thief was caught right in the act and the dumb mistake that landed him behind bars.
It was $999 plus tax, so it's $1,068 something.
An expensive gift, a new iPhone X delivered to Javita Acute Parker's St. Pete Beach porch Tuesday.
As soon as she pulled up the video, she's like, oh my God, somebody's stealing your box. It's an iPhone that they're stealing because there was 2 other big envelopes there.
Parker installed 2 surveillance video cameras at her front door to feel safer. She and her sister couldn't believe it when they caught a porch pirate stealing her delivery. Video shows this guy stuffing the package under his shirt, running off into the darkness, but turning towards the camera before leaving. And if you think that's surprising, there's a second video from 2 hours earlier.
Yes.
The same guy in the same clothes wearing a UPS vest delivering her iPhone X. Investigators say Jason Christopher Moan was a UPS contractor. He's not anymore after getting fired. A police report says his supervisor found the iPhone X in his personal belongings at work, which means after much ado, it'll end up back here for a cute Parker to wrap up for her friend.
Stupidest thief ever.
In St. Pete Beach, I'm Carson Chambers for The Now.
Wow, you think? Oh my.
Stupidest thief ever.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, there's
sums it up well. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Hope it doesn't happen to you, right? It's
Exactly.
so tough. You always hope someone's home when the packages come. That's the best way. All right, this next story in our lineup, one of our favorite stories of the day we're going to share with you.
One of the youngest survivors of the Texas church shooting has a request, and you help make his Christmas extra special if you listen to this.
Yeah, it's a special one. Stick around. You're watching the Now Detroit. Welcome back. Let's check the Now newsfeed on this Friday. Almost 3 months now after Maria obliterated Puerto Rico, 1/3 of the island is still without power. Today, the incoming governor of New Jersey and a handful of other lawmakers are in Puerto Rico visiting hospitals, shelters, and FEMA workers.
A new study says American women are dying younger when compared with other wealthy nations. U.S. women rank at the bottom. It's quite a fall from the 1960s when they had longer lifespans than most. The study points to obesity and smoking as key reasons.
And a special wish from one of the youngest survivors of the Texas church massacre. 5-year-old Ryland Ward would like to get some Christmas cards. The kindergartner will remain in the hospital well into the new year, recovering from 6 gunshot wounds.
Oh, I think everybody can help with
that, right?
After this story, I'm sure he will, for sure, for sure. Well, today is National Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. People are competing with friends, family, and even strangers to see who has the tackiest holiday wardrobe. Some sweaters even light up and make noise. Make sure to use hashtag Ugly Christmas Sweater Day on social media to share your hideous sweaters.
I love them though.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
All right, shipping deadlines are fast approaching, of course, as Christmas, 10 days away, as we said. Have you put greeting cards in the mail yet? What about those presents for out-of-towners?
Oh, the Now Detroit's Matthew Smith has some important reminders before you ship your gifts to make sure those holiday packages arrive on time.
And we know it is oh so important to make sure that as Christmas approaches, the packages are underneath the tree, especially if they're coming from loved ones. So we're actually inside the post office here in Detroit. I'm joined with Elizabeth Niduk of the United States Postal Service. We appreciate you having us today.
Oh, welcome to the Postal Service.
Well, one thing we really want to talk about is just making sure we package things properly. We just talked about the deadlines a little bit earlier, but we want to make sure that we don't throw it off ourselves. So first things first, we've got the clock. Now, anything that ticks, you say there's a big issue here for 2 reasons.
Yes, well, a lot of people like to send presents, toys, or clocks possibly through the mail. And if you have a battery, you'll need to take that battery out because we don't want it to start ticking, and then the Postal Inspection Service will have to check out that package. So make sure that you send the batteries, but you put them in the manufacturing package and you keep them that way, and then wrap them separately.
Okay.
And then wrap your package securely with the bubble wrap.
So this way we have the package that's going to go, we'll still send the batteries, that's okay, but manufacturer package is best.
Absolutely.
We like that, especially if it's going to get there on time. Now, one step further, let's talk about fragile items because we've got, I love this here. This is an Al Kaline autograph. My brothers are big Tigers fans. If I wanted to send this, I shouldn't just send this like this. We know we got to wrap it, but you're saying go one step further.
Yes, if you have a fragile item, especially something with glass, we recommend that you take the glass out of the frame and wrap the glass very securely separately, and then wrap the picture frame in the picture, and then place that in the box separately.
So now you have these great boxes. If you're doing priority mail, which as we get close to deadlines, it's a likelihood that you are, you can get the boxes for free. That's great, but you say go one step further. We don't just want the item on the outside of the box, we want it inside the box.
Right. We want the label inside the box because if for some reason the label is damaged on the outside, you have it inside, so when we take it to our mail recovery center, we can determine where this item still is being shipped to.
Now, I like that. Now, one step further, you're saying that we don't necessarily have to come here to the post office. You guys have new ways. It's 2017. You can ship from home.
Absolutely. If you're going to package this at home, you can go online to USPS.com, click and ship, and you can print a label and pay for a label at home from your home computer. Give it to your letter carrier. You can call the post office for a package pickup.
All right, Elizabeth is going to start wrapping up our clock here. That is going to be taking us out as I talk one more thing. Zip codes, oh so important. Do not guess on a zip code. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a big no-no, and it will throw the package timing off. Make sure you do it. They have kiosks inside most post offices. If not, just walk right up to the desk. If you get that zip code right, it'll make sure that you are right as you head on out. So we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio. For the Now Detroit, I'm Matthew Smith.
We learned a lot, right?
Yes, we did.
We were taking notes. Thank you, Matthew. All right, let's take a live look over Mount Clemens right now. Snowflakes falling at the moment on this Friday.
Let's check in with 7 First Alert meteorologist Kevin Jeans for another look at the forecast. Kevin.
Hey guys, well, yeah, it makes me feel colder just looking at the picture outside. Yes, it is another cold day today, but warmer weather on the way this weekend. We still have more snow to go tonight and into tomorrow morning, but temperatures still below freezing, obviously 29 degrees. It feels like it's 19 degrees. It's also been a little breezy today. We've had some winds that have been gusting around 20 miles per hour at times. The winds will get lighter as the night progresses. Temperatures now just 19. This is actually the wind chill values, just 19 degrees in Detroit. And so when some wind chills, you look in the UP in the single digits. The snow continuing, lake effect snow over northern lower and parts of the UP, still getting some at least light snow showers now. And as the wind direction is still out of the west, at least the upper levels out of the west, eventually shifting out of the southwest. So that'll put an end to a lot of the snow, but off and on snow showers. That just continues tonight over the next several hours. And then we should see some, I think, lighter snow showers and longer breaks from the snow overnight. But then tomorrow morning, a quick impulse moving in from the west could bring us another round of some moderate snow showers that's off and on throughout the morning tomorrow. So our temperatures drop to the lower 20s, close to 20 degrees overnight and by tomorrow morning. And so the snow showers continue through tomorrow morning, but then should taper off later on in the afternoon. So high temperatures about 33 degrees. That's a warm up at least. It will be mostly cloudy in the afternoon and evening. I think most of the snow is going to be done by about 1, 2 o'clock or so in the afternoon. Winds also a lot lighter than the shift out of the northeast later on tomorrow. So this is 10 p.m. tonight, moving overnight again. Snow showers off and on. Here we go all the way through the morning. Now once we get to the afternoon tomorrow, it's mostly cloudy, maybe a flurry or two in the evening, but that should be about it. And then Sunday starts out mostly cloudy, but I think dry. It is a bit warmer Sunday though, so late Sunday evening and Sunday night, there could be some rain and rain snow, kind of a wintry mix. So snow totals. Likely less than an inch going forward, but probably about an inch additional accumulation through tomorrow afternoon. 40% chance of morning snow, and then upper 30s Sunday and Monday. Could be some rain, snow mixed in late Sunday and again Monday. Temperatures 37 degrees for Tuesday. Carolyn, Joanne, back to you.
All right, Kevin, thank you.
All right, passengers scrambled to save a man's life on the train tracks.
Yeah, it was quite a close call. Take a look.
Sir, please wake up, sir.
Oh my.
Sir, wake up.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
No.
The man fell onto the tracks yesterday morning in Brooklyn. Liliana Vicente got a picture with her cell phone as she yelled for him to wake up because a train was coming.
I thought the train was going over him, and I started cheering and crying because I never seen those things.
Wow, she waved and yelled for the oncoming Q train to stop, and luckily it did. Witnesses then jumped down to the tracks and lifted the man to the platform where others pulled him to safety. Liliana never learned how that man ended up on the tracks. She spoke to him briefly and he said he just wanted to go home.
Oh my, sometimes, you know, somebody is looking out for you.
I would say.
I mean, yeah, that was like within seconds. All right, Walmart has pulled a marijuana leaf Christmas tree off its website. The description online was sprinkled with pot puns. One line read, "This pot leaf Christmas tree will light up the room and put your mind in the right headspace for holiday cheer." Before it was pulled, the tree was selling for $250. And Weed News, who knew there was such a thing, joked about the price, reporting that it cost more than 3 ounces of actual pot sold at some dispensaries in Oregon.
Okay, who did that get through to make it on the website?
I don't know.
And I'm not sure if that person still has a job.
Exactly.
All right, we have some video now. Look at this. Please come to the TV if you're away. This is going to make you smile here. An adorable baby girl buried by a blanket of puppies. She's Lucy Raper of Great Britain. She posed with those puppies for the Daily Mail. Is that darling? Oh, yeah. 7 tiny pooches tried to steal the biscuit from the 16-month-old little girl. Little Lucy, she loved every moment of it. So did Mom and Dad, I think I heard in the video there.
I guess so. She's like, no, so cute.
Absolutely, darling. I love it. All right, coming up next on the Now on this Friday, it's a story you won't see anywhere else today. We're going behind the scenes at a small candy factory to see how one of the most popular holiday treats is made.
It's pretty cool, too. You are going to want to stick around for that. But first, let's check in with Heather Catallo. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Carolyn and Joanne. Good afternoon. Here are the top stories we're working on for 7 Action News at 5. The bones of 3 children found in Montana. Could they be those of the missing Skelton boys? Our investigation continues with an interview with the lead investigator on the case in Montana. And it's flu season, but do men suffer more than women when they get the virus? Dr. Nandi will dispel all the myths of the man flu. It's coming up next on 7 Action News at 5.
All right, welcome back on this Friday. Let's head outside right now, see how rush hour is moving along, or maybe not moving along as well. Not too bad, certainly, but a little bit of stop and go at I-94 at Roosevelt. Could be slick out there. You've seen snow kind of coming down all day long, so watch your speed. Be careful. Give yourself some extra room. If we'll pass that along to someone if they're heading home today.
For sure, for sure. All right, during the holidays, sweet treats are all around us. You know that, especially the candy cane.
Perennial favorite, right? For sure. Have
Yes.
you ever wondered, though, just how the red and white striped candy gets made? Well, you are in for a treat.
So now Zandy Taylor gives us a behind-the-scenes look right now.
A store full of goodies and holiday treats. This is Hammond's, where everything is sweet.
Hammond's products were always the best.
A candy wonderland with rainbow lollipops, decadent chocolate bars, gooey marshmallow caramels, and an entire wall coated in assorted sweets.
Kids absolutely love candy, and quite frankly, kids, parents, grandparents as well.
The magic behind the candy creations goes back nearly 100 years. 4 generations later, owner Andy Schumann says everything still looks and tastes just as sweet as it once did.
It may not be the Hammond's family, but those people that are working in our kitchen today learn from the Hammond's family and learn from, you know, the grandson of the original owner.
Hammond's Candy creates all sorts of sweet treats, but during the holiday season, the star of the show is, of course, the classic candy cane. And today, we're going to get an all-access pass on how they make it.
We do put it aside and add it to a different batch.
On the other side of the looking glass, artists are hard at work making ribbon candies, peppermint pillows, and the traditional candy cane.
Corn syrup, sugar, and water.
Red and white striped candy begins with boiling sugar in a big kettle.
This candy's 325 degrees right now.
Once the temperature reaches 325 degrees, the molten mixture gets poured onto a cooling table where concentrated color gets swirled in. Once the sugar cools down to a taffy-like consistency, it's time for the candy to get its stripes.
Each one of the batches is going to produce about 550 to 600 candy canes.
Now onto the candy puller, where I assisted in the flavoring process.
Oh my goodness, I'm like scared, but this is so cool. It smells just like mint.
We want to get all the air bubbles out.
Next up, the pulling of the candy to form into the candy cane shape we know and love.
Every single candy cane we do is going to have just a little bit of a difference in it. And I think that's one of the things that makes our candy so unique and special.
The final step before packaging is sculpting the crook of the cane.
With that big batch of candy, it will take about 30 minutes from start to finish to get 600 candy canes.
There you go, out the other side, a sweet treat from Hammond's Candy, packaged up, ready to go to you and your family this holiday season. For the Now, I'm Annie Taylor.
It was fascinating to see,
That was
wasn't
an
it?
amazing process, and I was just saying, if it were warm, you know, wouldn't that be, nice and gooey and good, right?
Fantastic.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah, wow, neat process. Thanks for sharing, Annie. All right, that's it for the Now Detroit on this Friday. We do hope you join us again on Monday for the Now Detroit.
7 Action News at 5 starts right now. Have a great weekend.
Taking action for you. 7 Action News at 5 starts right now.
Skelton connection, suspicion, and skepticism as the remains of 3 children are found in Montana. Could it be the missing brothers from Michigan? What the investigators in Montana right now are revealing to Action News.
More snow tonight. I'll tell you when that moves out and how much warmer we get through the weekend.
Marky Mark and Meyer. Mark Wahlberg's new business venture with a grocery giant.
What I love about Michigan and what reminds me of home is the family atmosphere, good, hard-working people.
And a couple surprise appearance after they say the actor helped save their daughter's life.
First at 5, a possible connection to the missing Skelton brothers.
This comes after the remains of 3 children were found in a box in Montana. Could that be linked to the 2010 disappearance of the Michigan boys?
Tonight we have Team 7 coverage. Our Andrea Isom is taking you inside the investigation in Montana.
First, we begin with 7 investigator Jim Kirchner. He's live in Morenci, where those boys were last seen, and that was 7 years ago. Jim, how is the latest development possibly being received there?
Well, Stephen, it's certainly mixed reviews. People here still have a lot of hope. This is still the small town with the big unsolved mystery. And as I speak on the loudspeakers up here, Christmas carols are playing, but it's hard to be festive when people here are thinking that 3 of their own small boys could have been taken from here all the way out to Montana.
Hopefully it's not them. Hopefully our prayers have been answered that they're still alive somewhere. You know, that's what we've been praying for and hoping for, of course, all this time.
This small town refuses to give up hope. The flyers of Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner still hang in the storefront windows 7 long years later. Their father, John Skelton, said he turned them over to an underground group to protect them from their mother. He's in prison for kidnapping and has never said much more. Did the so-called group somehow take the boys to Montana?
My gut tells me that it's a good possibility, but my heart tells me I don't want it to be them, just in hopes that they are still alive.
From the hardware store to the barber shop across the street and every store in between, the people don't want the mystery to end in the worst possible way. Evidence of 3 young boys who died out in Montana.
Well, I'm hoping that it doesn't have anything to do with the missing boys. But then again, I mean, if it does, at least we'll have some closure one way or the other.
I think it's far-fetched. I mean, Montana's a long ways away from here, you know, talking 2,500 miles.
Now, next hour at 6, this small town became one big family as people turned out to volunteer their time and search for Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner 7 years ago, how they're remembering them out to Montana. Live in Morenci, Jim Kurtzner, 7 Action News.
All right, Jim, thank you so much.
Tonight we are taking you inside the investigation taking place hundreds of miles away in Montana. Investigators telling Action News they're in the process of interviewing people as they try to identify the remains.
Our Andre Eisen is joining us now with the very latest on what you've learned digging into this whole thing.
Well, guys, I just got off the phone with police in Montana. They are sharing their information with investigators here at home in Michigan, but it could take months before any of us gets any answers.
Hoping to come to some conclusion on at least the remains that we have here, if not, you know, the case that exists there in Michigan.
Michigan and Montana may be miles and miles apart, but there could be a chilling connection. According to cops in the city of Missoula, Montana, something precious and rare was discovered inside this small wooden shed. Human remains, teeth, bones of 3 children, all of them under the age of 10. Most of Metro Detroit remembers the tragedy in the small town of Morenci, Michigan. It will forever be known for the disappearance of the Skelton brothers. Andrew, Alexander, and Tanner vanished 7 years ago, the day after Thanksgiving. This after a visit with their father, John Skelton, who claims he gave them to an underground organization to protect them from their mother. Could the remains be those of the little Skelton boys? All of them were under the age of 10 as well when they vanished without a trace. The bone fragments and loose teeth were found in a box. They were not hidden in the shed, says detectives. They were discovered after the previous tenants left the property. But what about those who came before?
We are following up with past tenants. We are making contact with those folks and arranging interviews.
NamUs, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, is working on this as well.
In our case, we are hoping that if they do locate DNA in these remains, that they can extract it and potentially tell us who they are, who the people are, and whether or not they're related.
And if they are connected to any other missing cases across the country, like the Skelton brothers missing in Michigan.
We're so premature in making any determination about these remains. It's hard to say that we even have any connection to the state of Michigan with this. So at this point, I guess I would just ask them to be patient and let this investigation proceed as far as it can. And, you know, if we have some news, or if the Michigan State Police has news to help add some closure for them, that's our biggest wish.
Look at those faces. Right now, it's all in the hands of the DNA experts. It could take months before we find out who those children are. Reporting live, Andre Eisen, 7 Action News.
Andre, thank you so much for that. Right now on WXYZ.com, you can read the message from the mother of the Skelton boys. Also, you'll find a collection of stories we've done, and there are a lot of them, on their disappearance over the past several years.
Now to your forecast. Another round of snow has been pushing through, making for a slippery drive.